This is a video for my South Asian parents that are afraid to give their children freedom and let them out in the world and to experience it. Now, I am a millennial, so I'm in that generation where I fully understand why you guys are so afraid about letting your children go out there and experience this world. You're scared about fitna, you're scared about promiscuity. You're afraid of other people out there in the world manipulating them and using your children. And especially when your children are young, they're quite innocent, that sort of thing is quite a natural fear. On top of that, you mix our South Asian cultural dynamic into it. And we are a society based on opinions and fear. We've wrapped up all of the Khandan's izzat and put it directly in between our girls' legs, which is completely inappropriate, and it's nothing to do with Islam, by the way. Izzat carried by each individual is their responsibility, and inshallah ta'ala we all feel that responsibility to contribute and raise the izzat for our families together. But is not a singular child's responsibility to uphold the izzat of your whole household. That is a lot of pressure, and it is a really unrealistic ask. Now, that fear of not letting your kids go out there and experiencing the world, when you take only certain Islamic bits of context about zina nahi karna, and you base your whole entire upbringing of your children around these fear points, what you're doing is you're actually ignoring the whole and the rest of Islamic teachings. Now, as someone that was born and raised a Muslim but only really took her deen seriously in the last few years, and that includes doing research into understanding of why certain things have been put in place, especially when it comes to the hadith and the pieces of this lines in the Quran Sharif that are quoted to us as we're grown up. To be fair, I think a lot of us relate to this. It's very weaponized. It's very coercive, it's very manipulative, and it's used to gaslight you to behave in a certain way so the family can feel like you're in control and they're not losing that control over you. But actually, we've seen the result of this kind of upbringing. If you look at our previous generation, a lot of those women are stuck, and men are stuck in miserable situations that they don't want to be in. They actually didn't know what to do when the worst happened. And the only way that you can gather wisdom, you can gather hikmah in this life, is if you go forward and face everything you can. Experiences are not a bad thing. Instead of focusing on the fear that you have, I truly believe, like my mum did, the focus should be on akhlaq. How you're behaving, where you're receiving. The thing is, we base that fear of our children going outside and messing around, because sexual promiscuity is a huge fear for us, even though our South Asian community, especially Pakistani community, has the most promiscuous male population. They are very well known for it, that they literally cannot keep it in their pants. So I personally think that instead of these fears driving the way that you raise your son and daughters, actually our focus should be on teaching them the ways and the elements of etiquette within Islam. A lack of love usually sends people searching for love in other places. Maybe we should be focusing on ensuring that our children feel loved and heard and secure within our four walls, rather than going somewhere else and finding it. And I'm not saying that's the only reason they can get into relationships with people, because that's a journey in life. But we should be teaching them the importance of keeping the akhlaq in the right place, so they can go out into the world, they can go to holidays, they can go to university. We shouldn't be afraid of society messing up our children. We should be confident in the way we raise them. We should have so much confidence that I have armed my child with the right information and the right Islamic knowledge and societal knowledge. I have given my children enough of that information to know, and I've also kept the doors open of safety and security back to me. Because unfortunately in our community, if a child is going to say, no, I want to go and experience this, I want to go and see this in my life, then we tend to disown them. So you've left them no route to come back for any help or any guidance when something does go wrong, and then you lead them to feel alone. And when people feel alone in this world, they run into the arms of the first person that gives them that love. So focusing on building a strong Islamic self-esteem in your children will alleviate all these fears that you have about someone's going to go out there and do this to them and that to them. Why is your child the victim in these scenarios? We should be focused on ensuring that our generations of children now and yet to come are not insecure individuals. They are secure and sound in their own right, knowing exactly what they're doing on earth, exactly what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants from them. Because all these things came to me too late in life. Because society was too busy running around trying to cover up for their mistakes rather than prioritizing deen. And half the stuff that you guys prioritize in our culture has got nothing to do with Islam. It's all about etiquette and morality. And we don't have good and bad in Islam. We have right and wrong. And if we provided our children with that baseline structure, we wouldn't have to keep them in prisons, which is our home. And when they get to a certain age where something really serious happens, they don't have the mental or emotional capacity to deal with it because you kept them locked in a cage in the primal years of their learning.